gosh, you guys, I just met my twin, Liz Roesel. She's my social media business twin in the school nutrition space. Yes, she specifically has a thriving, growing business serving school nutrition departments with social media management. Oh my gosh, you can imagine what this conversation is going to be. She has learned so much. She's going to talk about engaging content that you can share either on a specific school nutrition page or on your own district page, right? Because there's reasons why you want students eating lunch at your school. We're going to talk about what schools are getting wrong. We're going to talk about school breakfast, National School Breakfast Week, which is this week, the week of March 6th, 2023. We're going to talk about some ideas for that. And then we're going to also dig into just how exactly she serves schools. So I'm really excited for you to meet Liz. And before we get to the interview or this week's K-12 PR tip, did I tell you guys I wrote a book? Yeah, I wrote a book and it's called Social Media for Schools. Proven storytelling strategies and ideas for celebrating your students and staff without losing your sanity. Yes, it's a long byline, but this is a step-by-step book that's going to take you through the proper storytelling methods where you can be successful for your school district. I have been writing about social media in schools since I started in 2014, but this is the first time I've really ever assembled it into a manual. I want you guys to make sure that you grab this book. It's going to be available in April. Go to socialschool4edu.com/book. Make sure you're signed up for my newsletter and you will be the first to know when the book is available. I'm so excited. And one of the reasons I'm excited is there's so many people that have contributed to stories in this book. You guys, it's not just my advice. This is advice from storytellers across North America on what's working for school social media. So stay tuned. I'm super duper excited about my book coming out. And if you hop over to my website, you will see the beautiful cover. You will definitely not want to miss your chance to grab it when it comes out. All right, let's get to today's K-12 PR tip. All right, today's K-12 PR tip is around urgency. And sometimes it can feel, and you can ask me because I am part of Be Real now because I like to keep up with what my kids are doing. So Be Real is another app where within 2 minutes, you're supposed to be posting what you're doing. I should look to see if my notification popped up. Oh, yes, it actually has. Right now, Be Real is posted. And so I am going to go on and actually post because the only way that I am able to see what other people post is if I post myself, okay? So I am posting in the moment what I'm doing, and it's a little bit of FOMO. I look horrible. I'm going to screenshot the picture so I can actually show you in the show notes what I look like. Oh my gosh, this is good. But sometimes social media you can feel that urgent, like, oh my gosh, I got to post this right away. Guess what? Not everything that you share on social media has to be shared the moment you take the picture. Today, we're going to talk a lot about school nutrition programs, and we're going to talk about showcasing like what's on your plate for school lunch or school breakfast. Guess what? That doesn't actually have to be posted the same day you take it. It does not matter if you're posting that you are having, a hamburger and it's actually on a day that you're having tacos. Like your community really doesn't care about that. They just care about what's happening at your school. Okay. So I just want to take away the urgency with social media. I want to take away the urgency by the way, on Be Real, you can post late after the 2 minutes is up. It will say that you posted late. So I don't know if it just is like, oh, you weren't really doing that when we said you had to post, but you can post later. But not everything is urgent. Not everything is urgent on social media. Not everything is urgent with your other job responsibilities. So it's important to ask people when they need something by, okay? When do you need this posted by? When do you need this report done? Because I have a lot of other things on my plate and I need to see if I can fit this in, okay? So not everything is urgent. That is my tip for you today. Now let's get to meet Liz Roesel. She is incredible. I'm so excited for you to meet her. Let's get started. I am so excited. I have Liz Roesel in the house today. How are you, Liz?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
So we were just talking about how we met. And I feel like I've known you almost since I started this business, but we met before the world shut down
Yeah,
in early March 2020.
it was social media marketing world. And I remember we were in San Diego. Both of us are across the country from our homes. And I was like, am I going to get home? Like, am I going to be quarantined in San Diego, which worst places to be? But yeah, we got home right before everything shut down.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it was a great connection. We sat at a networking table that I think we said we focused on like education. And of course, I do social media for schools. Why don't you tell everybody a bit about C-Level Social and what you do and kind of how you got into it?
So our companies really kind of like mirror each other, which is so fun to have like you as a resource and a friend to like go to. I when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, she's doing what I want to do just at the district level, and we do it at the child nutrition level. So we currently today we signed on our 49th child nutrition department as a client, and we started the company January 2020. So once COVID hit, everybody was like, oh, panic of spending money and all, but really they needed the communication when that happened. So it was a slow start, but we're making up for lost time for sure. So we manage their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with child nutrition programs. So we get to hang out with lunch ladies and food dudes and talk about feeding kids and and it's so much more than our joke is like it's more than square pizza. Their mission is to feed kids to make sure that they have a full belly so they can focus in the classroom and excel in the classroom and do well. And unfortunately, the unfortunate reality of it is some kids do rely on school meals. It's the only meals they get. I hear enough heartbreaking stories of, it was a snow day and kids were coming to school because they wanted the meals. So it's amazing to get to serve an industry that is serving kids in that way. Like we get tunnel vision of taking care of our clients, but that's so they can focus on the kids. So it's wonderful. I've worked with school nutrition programs for over 10 years. I was in the software space and then saw this need, and nobody was doing what we're doing for child nutrition. So that's how I kind of got introduced to this.
Yeah, that it's so cool to see how it's grown. And, obviously when you started right before the pandemic, but then I think you probably saw there was a need for some of that communication and they were still getting meals out in a lot of
Yes.
that when they shut down, right?
Oh, I mean, teachers were working from home. Kids were staying at home. The lunch ladies and food dudes are out there serving curbside meals. And so many of them went into serving during the holidays, serving weekend meals. And it was this movement that kind of happened. So many of them that weren't doing it before are now serving summer meals. But summer meal programs have been around, but yeah, so they needed to communicate to parents on how are we going to make sure these kids are fed, those kids that depend on those meals. But child nutrition is unique in that they rely on this is like the thing that nobody gets is they rely on kids to eat at school because they get federal reimbursement dollars for that. They're not just handed money, here, run your program, serve whatever you want. They have to get kids to eat in order to be reimbursed, and they're running a business. So they have a lot of myths and misconceptions that they have to educate in order to get kids to eat with them because it's vital to their business, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I love the lunch ladies and the food dudes. Sometimes we tell our folks because we're doing at the district level, but when you highlight bus drivers, custodial crew, or the lunch, the lunchroom or your child nutrition program, like those are some of the best posts that we share. And it's just interesting. So you're helping these child nutrition programs run an exclusive social media platform just for the food service program, right?
Correct. So that's one thing with some clients, we have to really talk to the communications department. They get a little bit like, wait, what are you trying to do? But there's enough to share because between sharing the menus, which we share weekly, between sharing new menus that are happening or menu substitutions, because the supply chain disruptions are not just in, restaurants and grocery stores, it's affecting them. So between all of that, plus the feel good fun stuff that they want to celebrate, between all of that, we post a minimum 4 times per week for our clients. And they send us pictures. So there's enough content there to certainly, wager or to have at their own accounts. But yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah. And what are the average size school that you serve of those 49 where you're doing the management for them? How big are these schools?
I love a small school district. Give me like a school district that's like 5 to 10 schools. Like I love a small school district. I mean, just talking business here. Like there's less red tape.
Yeah.
The person is making the decision. The child nutrition director is my one-stop shop. Um, I was actually talking to one of our clients. She has 147 schools. She's our largest client. And she was talking about recommending us to another big district. I won't mention the name, but she mentioned it. And I said, I was like, but some of the larger districts they're more hands-on than the small ones. So we love a small school district. Also, one of my good friends, Kern Halls, talked about this. He does cafeteria remodels, but he made this point and it is stuck with me and I repeat it all the time. Is child nutrition staff are easily forgotten because they're the first ones in the building. When they leave, class is still in session, everybody's in class, they come and go out the back door. And it's so often child nutrition teams feel forgotten, underappreciated, they're off in the corner. And whereas when I get to work with these small school districts, it's these like rural communities and stuff like that, I'm getting to share and celebrate and share their stories, and they send us pictures. We get to post that, Miss Rita is celebrating, 20 years at the district and stuff like that. It's like those kind of stories that wouldn't be told without our help, that I have a lot of fun with, celebrating those people. So we love small school districts, but we treat them all the same. And I love telling them that, like, the client with 147 schools, I treat her the same as, Abbeville, South Carolina, with small ones. So
Yeah.
we were gamut.
So when you say small schools, I'm like thinking that's probably 3,000 students, maybe would be like 5 to 10 schools.
Yeah, I don't run it by number of students.
Okay.
I always have gone by number of school sites. That comes from my software history. We
Yeah.
always priced things by school site. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, just because when I think small, Liz, the school I first served and I still serve today, 300 students, K through 12, one little building, So
Oh,
in that case, we probably wouldn't have a separate page for the
right.
food, but I totally understand. And you've learned a lot. What's your website?
It's c-levelsocialmedia.com.
Okay, sea level social media.
We're transferring everything over. So
Okay,
actually, as of the time of this, it's c-levelsocial.com.
okay,
But we're transferring to a new site. And I will say we do have some districts like that are one building.
okay.
Um, yeah, so we do have some of those, and we purposely do try to price things where any district could afford us as well. We're really trying to be aware of that.
Okay, that's awesome. So Liz speaks all over the country.
Yeah.
So if you need a speaker, definitely in this food, the child nutrition space, lot of helpful tips that really cross over. And so that's why we are like designated BFFs because of kind of how we serve these schools. So you've kind of explained why social media is so important because those kids who eat hot lunch are drawing in dollars or breakfast. What are some of the best ways for child nutrition programs, or if you don't have a separate site for our listeners, what are some great tips on engaging things that they can share?
So if they don't have I just always encourage, if I hear my district won't allow me to have a separate child nutrition page, that's okay. I encourage them to not spam isn't the word, but really give them tons of content I always tell them, go find that communications person or whomever's running the social media page, give them the content, tell them what's happening in it, pretty much craft the caption for them. Like, this is what we're doing, National School Breakfast Week or what have you, and this is what's going on. Like, give them all the content so it's easy for them to do it. The most engaging, it's funny that you mentioned like Meet the Team kind of series. The most engaging content is that. It is when we post, feature a person with some fun facts about them, their favorite school lunch. We last January, we did audits of all of our clients and we asked them, what's the biggest benefit you see working with us? And overwhelmingly, they said boost in team morale, because they see their pictures being shared. When the cafeteria staff send us pictures, we give them photo credit. Pictures being shared, and celebrating them and feeling that they got, even just a pat on the back, because these folks don't make a ton of money. They're working hard. They're working hard in those kitchens to feed those kids. So, it does boost team morale if you're out there. Plus, I always, my rule of thumb, I don't know where I picked this up, it's not mine, so I got to make sure, is educate or entertain. If you're educating or entertaining, post. So I tell them if it's funny, silly, it's entertaining. But if it's educating and it's combating those school lunch lady myths of mystery meat and unhealthy food and just slopping stuff on a tray, get on down the line, that's not what's happening back there. They have strict menu requirements they have to meet. But if you can educate people on that, and they realize, oh, every single lunch comes with a fruit and veggie, and and that they do meet these, like they have limitations on sodium and stuff like that, they'll realize, oh, why am I packing my kids meal when you guys are serving healthy food right there, and it's at a low cost or potentially free depending on your district. So I try to say educate or entertain, and feature your team, feature those smiling faces as much as you can, if anything, to celebrate them and give them that little boost that they no doubt need, because so many cafeteria staff didn't stop during COVID.
Right. Yeah. And I would also echo that if you can showcase, like what you said, the meals they are getting,
Mhm.
sometimes those pictures go a long way, because people will be like, because people remember school lunch when they went to school, and that was many, many years ago, and rules have changed. And so being able to show them that chicken fajita with the
Yeah.
fresh lettuce and chicken, and then, whatever they have on the side, like that can be really powerful, just pictures of that, right?
I always tell them, take a picture of that tray with all, if you speak school nutrition, you know what I mean, all 5 components. Like, you have things that have to be on that tray to serve that kid for lunch. So take it with all the components. It prevents parents from saying, you didn't feed my kid enough, da da da. Well, they can have up to 5 components on this tray. So show them how full that tray really is, and feature new menu items. I know it's been so tough with the supply chain, but when you can get new items, I think that shows that we're looking for things that kids want to eat. And let me just say, I don't know how these directors and menu planners put together a menu that is budget friendly, meets those menu requirements, and tastes good enough for these kids to eat. It's mind-boggling how they do it, because those requirements are strict. So there's a lot that goes into it. So just try to, I would say, one more tip is, if you're trying to help encourage this, is when I go to visit schools, I talk to the manager. I go straight to cafeteria manager, right? Every now and then I get the manager that like calls on the resident young person. They're like, Crystal, come over here. And it's this young girl that works there, right? And she loves pictures and loves social media. And it's like, okay, Crystal. And I just start talking to her. I'm like, can you start taking pictures like this, this, this? And she's like, yeah. And I think that helps her enjoy her job more and feel like I'm contributing and I'm showing off what we do back here, because parents don't come back there. Teachers really don't go back there. They don't know what's happening. And so empower your staff with that. If you have somebody that enjoys it, like, let them own it, and let them, again, just spam those people with pictures and say, please post, because there's enough to share about what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we've got a ton of ideas already. And it is National School Breakfast Week this week.
Mhm.
So in a minute, we're going to get to some ideas that we could use for that. But first, you've just told us a bunch of stuff that will help us get good content. You've seen a lot of school lunch pages and things like that. When it comes to social media for meal programs, what would you say are some of the most common things that schools are getting wrong? You could probably talk
Um,
about this for days, but
um, so I think it's just a lack of posting and
okay.
talking about it is from a district. If you're looking at a district Facebook or social media page, they don't talk about child nutrition at all. Like, at all. And I always tell people, I'm like, you cannot depend on people to listen, to see every post, to take action on every post. They need reminders. And someone put it one time, they said, think about how many times you see an ad before you buy something. So if you need those free and reduced lunch applications filled out. You can't just post in back to school season and then you're done. You need to post about it. We posted weekly for 6 weeks and then we posted monthly after that because parents just need reminders. So I think it's just a lack of communicating anything happening back there in child nutrition from the district side. Yeah, that would be the biggest thing.
Okay, that's really good. And when you think about it, like you broke it down, if you don't have a separate page, and
Mhm,
I talk all the time about campaigns or features. Well,
mhm.
what if one day a week is your day to feature something from your nutrition program?
Right.
Whether it's a picture of a tray, which you could easily get 5 days, you go out there every day and get a picture every day, and you'd have 5 weeks of content, right? To
Mhm.
show them a typical tray and post that once a week. That's so easy to do when you can schedule things out, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Yes.
This is my closer, and this always gets a lot of laughs in my presentations when I talk about what to take pictures of. This district, they were not posting pictures of the trays. We were posting about the menus, and we did meet the teams. It was kind of quiet, right? Someone commented on one of their posts about 7 pictures of trays from neighboring school districts. All the neighboring school districts were having social media, and this woman had the time to Facebook stalk these accounts. She posted all these pictures in the comments and said, this is what other districts are doing with their funds. How come you all aren't doing it? Put this long paragraph. And I was like, oh my goodness. Talk to the assistant director. She's like, I'm on it. She talked to every manager and said, you all send pictures. 5 days a week for about 4 or 6 weeks, we posted pictures of their trays. Not every single school posted, maybe like three to five photos a day, but we posted every day. Look what we're serving at this school, this school, this school. And it was at the end of the school year, I get an alert and I see a comment that says, these are some of the best meals in this insert city here. These are some of the best meals. They look amazing. Kudos to everybody. All this wonderful stuff. It was the same person. Now, I love sharing that for a couple of reasons. Was number one, when she complained, it was like like paragraphs. When she gave kudos, it was 2 sentences. It's like literally. But number two is that district didn't change anything about what they were doing. They didn't change their menu. They didn't do anything other than take pictures. So that's like my best example of just take the pictures and share because they didn't change anything. They were doing the same stuff. So, funny story too, I presented that and one of the pictures that lady shared that was like an example of something good, a lady in the room was like, I took that picture.
Oh,
And I was like, well, look at you being an example. So, she was excited. But yeah, so that's you just gotta, if like you said though, make it a point of once a week, I'm just gonna even just share a tray. It will help combat that. And the feisty parents might come out a little bit, but if you can just point to, we do have menu requirements we have to meet. Lean on if you don't have a separate child nutrition page, just go to the child nutrition director. They'll be able to handle those conversations
yeah.
easily.
Awesome. Yeah, and the advice you're sharing is kind of the same whether it's the lunch menu items or what's being taught in the classroom, right?
Right.
They might make it up and say, "Oh, these schools around you are doing all of these things." Well, we're doing those things too.
Right.
And it's not changing anything by putting, a camera in there and being able to expose it. You're really giving everybody that ability to peek in and
Yeah.
be like, "Wow, gives you something to be proud of and excited about." And I love that.
Yeah.
Um, great job and great story. It is always good when you can get somebody in the room who's like, hey, that's my post. I do that. I try to do that with all of
I know.
my talks as well. Um, so it's School Breakfast Week this week. So what are some ideas that you're trying to use for some of your schools for social media?
So if you're a member of the School Nutrition Association, which I believe there are like 60,000 members strong, if you're not a member, you need to become a member. But they have tons of resources that are there for free. So what happens is every year they come up with themes. So this year it's dig into school breakfast. So it's a kind of a construction theme. They come up with a theme and they have tons of graphics and if you like Canva and you want to design your own things, they give you the design elements. Um, they make it easy for you. Flyers, social media, snag those things and make them work for you. But I say you don't have to wait on a national event like this to happen. You can make your own celebratory week anytime or on a fun Friday or something like that. But one last year was take off with school lunch, or if it was take off with school breakfast, one of those. And one cafeteria manager, it was supposed to be like rockets, but one cafeteria manager did a different theme every day that had to do with takeoff. So she did like airplanes and the whole staff dressed up as flight attendants. And then one was takeoff was like a vacation day. They all wearing luau, like, or not luau, like Hawaiian print shirts, and they were relaxing, like taking off work. So you really can make it your own. The one thing I will say is the high school cafeteria staff have their work cut out for them. It's so easy to make a cutesy thing for elementary. But those high school managers talk to other high school staff and managers to see what they're doing. I know some that do karaoke in the cafeteria and they get everybody involved. I mean, they have to really think outside the box to get those kids in the cafeteria. Um, but yeah, SNA has lots of features or lots of resources. Some of our clients do special menu items that week. Even if they're just serve the same stuff, they rename it to go with the theme. Like one year was like a jungle theme. So they renamed everything about having to do with animals. You can do simple things like that too.
Yeah, just really have fun with it. I think that's the main thing. I
I
know
would I would
one of the
encourage oh,
oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
one quick thing before I forget. If you ever like celebrated any of these weeks, just head over to Twitter or Instagram and I just look up hashtag NSBW for National School Breakfast Week, like NSBW or NSBW 23, and you'll find stuff there, or National School Lunch Week, NSLW. So search for those on social media and you'll see what other people are doing and, you know, rip off and duplicate R&D, right?
Right, yeah. We say admire and acquire. That's
Oh, I love that.
yeah, and admire and acquire. It just puts it in a positive spin.
Yeah.
I love that. I was gonna say, in regards to high school, and of course ours is one building, but one of the best things we did this year was they added a salad bar option. And so kids can choose the hot lunch or the salad bar. And when we posted on that, it went nuts.
Yep.
So just some of those things, those options that kids have, putting those out there, whether it's for a special week or it's just a random Tuesday and you want to share that, it can be really engaging.
Yeah. Oh, we had same thing. Some of our clients sent us pictures. They were like, "The salad bar is back for the first time after COVID," and we were like,
Yeah,
"Yes," and you could see it happen. Yeah, they were so excited.
that's awesome. All right. So we kind of talked a little bit about how you serve schools, but you have quite a few different programs. I know you offer some free resources also over on your website. So why don't you just spend a little time talking about exactly kind of how you serve schools and support them and the different programs you have?
So we almost all of our clients are actually on the same program right down the middle.
Okay.
Um, I I did not want tiered pricing. I didn't want because social media. I could have a lower tiered pricing package and I could charge less, but I'm going to post less frequently and I'm not going to get the bang for the buck. I didn't want to have limitations on how many times we posted for our clients. Um, our clients, we try to encourage our clients to let their managers send us pictures. And we currently have no limitation on that. Please send us your pictures and we will post them. That's really important to us because that's how we can serve them with these great analytics. We run quarterly analytics reports for them. So I fought the tiered packaging for a while, but I think some people like it aesthetically to see how it works. So, but all of our clients are on the same package. We do, we don't limit them on how many posts. We post at least 4 times a week. What we do, which I'm really proud of, and it's just gets better the bigger we get, is we have kind of over time created this library of infographics, and a lot of it came from our own clients asking, do you have something that talks about this? And I see it and I'm like, oh my gosh, others could use that. So we have a couple of Google forms that are literally infographic. Do you like this? Yes or no for your social media? And do you have any changes? So they can say, oh, I like this infographic, but this is a little different for my district. And they roll through that. And when we get a new client, we've already got, 20 posts that we can do for them right out the gate off this content library that we're creating organically over time. But the more clients we get, the more great ideas we get. And I love sending an email that's to all of our clients that says, hey, Emma Ann Hallman at Haleyville, Alabama just asked for this graphic. Do you like it too? Or would you like it? And they come back with, oh yes, me. And we still customize that. It still has their branding, their logo. It's, we customize that for them. I don't know that I will go down tooth and nail on customizing everything like that. I know some people are like, make things just more generic or broad. There's a time for that, but right now we still have the bandwidth to be able to do that. And we want to always do that. So that's kind of, we try to, once they sign up, we kind of roll with content that they don't have to approve, like our meet the team features. The team fills out a Google form and uploads their own photo, and then we get it and we create it. The director never even had to see it or approve it. We try to take things off their plate, not run things to them for approval, so we do that. And then, so they really try to only hear from us if we have new content available or they have special requests for us. One thing I'm really proud of is we're putting in some really good workflows so that if they have a request that's just a generic, non-time sensitive thing, they have a certain email address, requests@clevelsocialmedia.com. And then that goes into the right person. And then if there's something urgent, we have, a snow day and things have changed. They have urgent at C-Level Social, and then, goes from there. And it gets us into the right workflow. So this year at C-Level, it's all about efficiency and streamlining, and we're cleaning and tightening things up so that we can keep growing as fast as possible. We went to our first national School Nutrition Association conference and had a booth. It's a huge exhibit hall, and we have a little 10 by 10 booth. And we increased our customer base by 50%. So, we're trying to keep up with our growth, and we're not saying no to anybody. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So really you're offering full social media management for these programs. The pricing is just probably based on the number of schools. Is that right?
I charge the same thing for everybody.
Oh, okay. But okay.
My price is that low.
Okay.
So what I did was for those really larger districts that, might have some other special need. Maybe they want videos or Facebook ads. We'll just have that as an a la carte option.
Okay.
But we're really it doesn't matter to me on the other end if you have 5 schools or 104. You have some things that are in place to protect us from the 147 school district, for example. I was like, if all your managers are sending us photos, we're going to be overwhelmed, right? So we just had a conversation of let's get started and see how this goes. And they have not been any more or less than anyone else. So we just keep rolling with it. I try to I've always been very upfront with my clients, and I actually just sent them an email last month. Our goal is to not raise prices on existing clients. That's just something I know my friends are like, or some colleagues that are like, every year go back and renegotiate. And I'm like, that's not what I want to spend my time doing. I just don't like that. So instead, what we do is we do tweak our packages about every year or 18 months. So we're currently in the process of doing that. However, we just did a big push for new signups so that you can get locked into pricing, and the goal is to not raise it on them. So yeah, they're all in the same package.
Okay. And then do you have any training or resources that's like free available on your website
Yeah,
that we can direct listeners to?
at sealevelsocial.com/free. It's what we do is sometimes with those special requests, like I mentioned, our content library, we'll make a generic version that doesn't have any district branding on it. We'll make a generic version and put it on there for them. We've kind of gone out of the box on some of our freebies when when COVID hit and there were pickup sites for meals. We were making free Google Maps if you needed a Google map for your pickup sites. So we kind of run the gamut with those, but for the most part, they're infographics on our site. And our subscribers are really, like, if you subscribe to our email list, which is on our website, subscribe to our email list, because I maybe send like 2 sales emails a year. Mostly it's, hey, here's the next freebie. So subscribe to our email list is really the best way to stay in the know.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
definitely have all those links in the show notes. And Sea Level Social is SEA,
Mhm.
everybody. So SEA levelsocial.com. And then that /free will get you to all of our freebies. So as we wrap up, you've given us a ton of tips, a ton of great content. But if you had to give your best social media tip, what would you say it would be?
I feel like I've like kind of said a lot of it is frequency. Um,
Hmm.
so I will say one thing that has helped our clients reach more people significantly was Facebook groups. So we do Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for our clients, but overwhelmingly, every client, Facebook has more followers, more traction. It just does. Um, when we started seeking out and finding local community Facebook groups where we could share urgent news, this is super helpful during summertime when they do summer meal service. Usually, well, if you do summer meals at your district, all kids 18 and under eat for free. So we share those posts on local community groups. Another one we did was there's some that are hiring. So it's like where I am, it's like Wilmington NC hiring. When our home county is a client, when they're hiring, I share those posts there. Always get more views. The thing I love about Facebook groups is you're reaching people that don't follow that page. They most likely don't follow the district page. You're getting more community members, and you know, think about how many parents don't follow the district page, right? They probably just follow their kid's school, maybe at all. So I would reiterate what I said earlier, which was frequency and featuring your team for sure. But then it was utilizing those Facebook groups was a game changer for us. The second week we did it for a district about his summer meal service, he emailed us and said, I've got people showing up I've never met before. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Because again, that's federal reimbursement to keep their program running, to keep those jobs. They're not making millions over there. They're working with $1 million budgets, but they are running a business. So seek out those Facebook groups. Be careful in those Facebook groups. I have a whole class I teach about handling trolls on social media. So
Yeah,
it is important to note that you'll probably find more trolls in those Facebook groups. Because you are reaching so many more people, you're a little bit more susceptible to it. So just keep an eye on them. If you do, just test the waters with a couple. I've had some group admins that are like, "Hey, don't post this here, whatever." That's fine. They don't. I'll take a slap on the wrist. It's worth it.
yeah.
But it's just easy when you're in Facebook. Search your city and state and see what pops up. You'll be surprised.
That's a great tip. So, to all my listeners, my school PR friends, a lot of my friends are in NSPRA. They are the school communicators that sometimes love you, Liz. Sometimes maybe are like, what are you trying to do? But she has taught so many different breakout sessions on Canva, on handling those negative gossip groups. And so I don't know. I know you do a lot of traveling, but
Mhm.
I know I do a lot of webinar presentations as well. So you guys reach out to Liz because she'd be another great resource to shine a new light on kind of storytelling in your schools. I just am really a big fan of the work you're doing and the mission that you have. And you've got a lot of experience, a lot of tips. And so what's the best way for our listeners to stay connected to you?
Email Liz at clevelsocialmedia.com. I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm not really on LinkedIn. I'm like, I'm
Okay.
there. Quite honestly, I'm really active on Facebook. Liz Roesel, I think I'm the only one out there. um, but yeah, you can email at any time. I'm a member of a lot of school nutrition Facebook groups. We're active over there. So I'm up there. I'm there a lot.
Yeah, and if your school nutrition program deserves to know about Liz. So make sure that you pass this podcast off to them and make sure that they get the clevelsocial.com where they can sign up for a free newsletter. You're going to
Yeah.
get better content from them if they're sending stuff to you. And maybe this program that she offers might be something that could really help and ultimately helps the school. So thank you so much, Liz, for hanging out with us today.
Thank you. This is so fun. Are you going to social media marketing world again anytime soon? I know yeah,
I know I am not this year, but I have to go back because that was
yeah,
an awesome conference.
it was. So my business partner that you met, Ariane Branch, she's going. She's got a lock on that conference. I was like, you found a good one that you always got to go to for work in San Diego. So she'll be there forever until, but yeah, we'll have to coordinate a time to go back, all of us.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be good. A little bit of a reunion. Well, thanks everybody for listening in this week. We will see you back next week. I've got a really special episode. I'm diving into a little personal sharing on kind of my own mental health journey. So you're not going to want to miss that episode. And until then, keep telling those stories. Bye, Liz.
Thank you.